Hello and welcome to P.S. Such a Connection. I'm P.
And I'm S. And today we're talking about the hometown episode of season 12 of The Bachelorette, Jojo's season. And it started off with Chase, the dark horse here.
Yeah.
Came in riding from the back.
Really dark horse. Didn't see him coming.
Didn't see him. Didn't see him.
So yeah, they were in Colorado. They climbed that mountain. That was really beautiful.
Well, I love Colorado.
Love Colorado.
So maybe Jojo was like, well, he lives in Colorado, and I've always wanted to go there.
Not gonna lie, I was like, she definitely, like, I don't know where James Taylor is from, so I can't say definitely, but she was like, ooh, James Taylor is from here, and Chase is from Colorado.
Colorado. So yeah, they made this, it was like, Chase is opening up, and like, he hasn't been, so open before, and it's like, well, thanks for filling us in, because we didn't know. We didn't know anything about Chase.
It really speaks to the fact that if they don't show you anything about a bachelor, then everything that they say when they're at this point in the relationship doesn't matter, because we're like, didn't see any of that. We didn't see any of the evolution of him, like, maybe not being sure about whether he really felt anything for her, if he should say that he felt anything for her. We're just getting that, oh, he's saying things for me, but he wasn't before, like...
So I said it went pretty well. Like, she liked his family. It was kind of like a vanilla.
Yeah, I thought they emphasized too much the fact that his parents are divorced.
Yeah, it seemed to be, like, the thing they latched onto.
Yeah, and, like, I get that that can affect how people see relationships, and I guess they don't often have people on the show whose parents aren't together, who make it this far or whatever, but it's really strange to focus on that so much when that has absolutely nothing to do with your relationship with someone else, unless it's something that, like, really affects you. But they were like, his parents are divorced. Like, it wasn't like his parents are divorced and it's affecting him. It's like, he got over that a while back, but his parents are divorced. What is he gonna do?
And they had that little, like, therapy session with his dad there in the beginning. I saw Twitter blowing up about it, but yeah, it was just awkward.
And they did that too when Catherine was with Sean Lowe, because her father was in Asia.
Yeah.
So he wasn't there for it, and they have, like, a strained relationship. I don't think they're estranged, but they don't have, like, the best relationship. And they made a huge deal of it, and they're married with a kid now.
Yeah. Congratulations. Sean Lowe and Catherine.
So I just don't understand why they latched onto that so much.
Yeah, I don't know. What I wrote down is that because, like, nothing about them or their relationship to me seems that astonishing, like, that kind of, like, zero drama might actually be a sign that they do have a good relationship.
Yeah.
Like, but there's no way for us to tell, because maybe they're just comfortable and they don't, like, discuss the, like, oh, I'm so in love with you and all the time, so they don't create that much for the show, but they have a good, but maybe she wanted to go to Colorado.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. There's literally nothing for us to go off of.
I mean, no offense to Chase. We just haven't seen anything about him on the show.
Yeah. There was
like that one-on-one date, and that was basically it.
There was a 2-on-1, but the 2-on-1 where she chose Chase over, what's his face, Derek, also wasn't, like, I guess that was the main place where she was like, you're not opening up to me. and like he still didn't. And then I don't know.
Yeah.
That's all I have for him.
That's all I have to.
All right. So then comes Jordan.
And just like how they emphasized
Yep.
too much about Chase's parents being divorced, they emphasized way too much about Aaron Rodgers not being there. And it was also so uncomfortable for me personally. I don't know if you felt this, because the family did not want to talk about it. She brought it up like at least 3 times, and each time they were like, no. And like, I'm sure she didn't bring it up because she wanted to bring it up.
Yeah.
But it was too much. Like, it was like, wow, you're really trying to go for this Aaron Rodgers things, guys, and they are not going to talk about it, so stop. It just felt very uncomfortable to me.
It was awful. That's all.
Yeah.
It was awful.
I mean, it would be interesting to, like, find out what the deal is.
Yeah, it for sure would
But
be.
if they don't want to talk, like, you aren't going to get to it by just continuing to bring it up and be like, oh. And it also has absolutely nothing to do with her relationship with him, which is why it's so uncomfortable. If it were something about an ex, if it were something about, like, even if it were something about his parents, like, he doesn't speak to his dad anymore, that's a bigger deal than him not speaking to his brother anymore.
Yeah.
Just because his brother is famous doesn't make me care more. I also don't pay attention to football, so
Yeah.
it has a, like, negative care effect
Yeah.
on me, so.
Exactly. I just agree. Like, that's all Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, I also wrote down they kept saying, like, he's not in the shadow of his brother. He's his own man. And I was like, you keep bringing up his brother a lot for him
Yeah.
not to be in the shadow of his brother, but
yeah.
whatever.
So thought number 1, when he brings her to his old high school, you don't bring people to your old high school. Like, high school, if high school were some of your best memories, that's a negative sign to me.
Like, see, if it's, like, your hometown, though, like, I wouldn't bring someone to my high school, but if you were, like, the big man on campus, it makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah, it does. I just, like, that just, to me, because I feel like people who had a good time in high school had to have been mean to other people. So it has a negative for me. But
yeah, I don't know. Because, like, if you go to college out of state, like, I would bring someone to my college, but it's out of state, so I wouldn't go on my hometown date. I wouldn't bring someone to my college. But say if I would,
yeah.
that's what I would do instead of bringing them to high school. But
Yeah.
you can't in this type of situation, so I see why he would go to his high school, especially since that room, like, has all of the pictures of his brother, and I guess they put some up of him now
Yeah.
for the shot.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Which was nice of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wrote down that she is, like, so super into him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's the only one that she has said, like, I'm in love with him. Or, like, has expressed wanting to tell him that she's also in love with him. And I don't know. Last episode, I was like, okay, this could totally work out. But then this time around, I was like, I don't know. I was a little bit less into them as a couple this episode. I don't know why. It was kind of like, I like Jordan, but I also feel like he's not being, I don't know. Something about it, just this episode made me feel like he wasn't being 100% forthcoming
Is it because he wouldn't talk about Aaron Rodgers?
It was because he wouldn't talk about Aaron Rodgers. That's why. What happened, Jordan? No, I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know. I also wasn't as into it, but I wasn't really as into any of the relationships. Like, I didn't like...
This episode in particular?
Yeah, none was... Like, none of them were
Standout?
above the others. Yeah. I was like, oh, everyone's, like, getting along. Everyone's telling her that they're falling in love with her.
Yeah.
And, like, everyone... It seemed like basically everyone was on the same level this week.
Yeah, I guess that's maybe why. Because Jordan's always been a little bit standout.
Mhm.
And then this week he wasn't. And,
Yeah.
I mean, it showed, I don't want to, like, jump the gun, but at the end where she's really struggling with this decision.
Yeah.
So, that's all I had about Jordan this week.
Yeah, that's all I had.
So then Robbie, and there seems to be a theme going, but what they really latched onto with Robbie was this thing with his ex. And Jojo, I think, has a real, I don't want to say that I think Robbie's lying, but she does have a reason to be concerned about this thing in particular. I mean, she just made such a good connection. Like, she had that relationship that she was in and then jumped into another one, and that turned out to be a bad relationship. And you know, Ben said that he loved her, but his heart was with someone else. And, just, I don't know. Because I am tending to believe Robbie. I feel like, I just don't see him, like, he never, aside from when I think Jojo has brought it up or his mom brought it up, like, he's never, like, talked about his ex.
Yeah.
And I feel like, that's something that you do. Like, even Jojo still talks about Ben.
Yeah.
And, you know, he obviously really hurt her. And that's not saying that Jojo is still hung up on Ben, but it's still, like, she still talks about it. And Robbie doesn't seem to mention it ever.
Yeah.
So to me, I guess I don't, but that's not to say that it couldn't still affect him, because obviously it was like a 3-year-long relationship. But
I mean, I don't think that he's lying about coming on the show for anything more than, you know, I mean, even if at the beginning it was just to, like, whatever, see what happened, because he had just gotten out of this relationship, I don't think that it was anything more malicious than that.
No, never.
Like, I wouldn't be able to believe that.
No,
really.
No, Robbie doesn't seem like the sneaky, like, malicious type. That's...
I did like that he mentioned twice in, like, really early in their date, remember when we were in Uruguay and I said I loved you? And she was like, yeah. And then, like, 4 minutes later in the show, he was like, remember when we were in Uruguay and I said I loved you? And she was like, yeah.
I remember.
It was like, do you remember? Remember.
Don't forget.
Remember I loved you.
Love you. I wrote that Robbie has a really big family, which is nice.
Yeah.
It's got, like, a lot of people, but I guess...
And there weren't 2 empty chairs at the table.
Right. That they were, like, thinking about and brooding over the whole time. It would be more impactful if there was only 1 empty chair, right? Like,
right? Yeah.
I don't know. 2 just seems like
2.
This table was made for 8 and there's only 6.
Like, whatever.
Whatever.
I felt like, too, they could have, like, given them all more room if they hadn't left those 2 chairs there. But whatever. We have to make it a moment.
It's fine. I also wrote down that, yes.
Sorry. You go.
I wrote down that when Jojo was addressing Robbie about these concerns, just the way she was speaking about it was, to me, felt like some of the realest moments on the show. Like, very genuine, just because It just felt like that.
Yeah.
To me.
So I wrote down that Jojo said to Robbie's mother, I'm falling in love with him.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is different than saying to the man, I'm falling in love with you.
I think so too.
Because I think it's just a little bit more... I think it's a bigger step than telling someone that you love them.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's fairly easy on this show to tell someone
Right.
you love them.
But then involving the family.
Yeah, when you tell a mother that you're falling in love with her son, that's a huge deal. And I feel like I would like to think, and I do think, that Jojo is the type of person who knows that that's a huge deal and wouldn't say it if she didn't feel it.
Right. Yeah. I agree with that. Especially, like, and she's mentioned it, they never let you forget on the show, but because Ben told her too,
Mm-hmm.
like, she knows
Yeah.
it's a big deal.
That was all I had for Robbie.
Same.
Okay.
So Luke is perfect.
He's really just perfect. There were a lot of people there though.
There was like his town came.
I would be absolutely overwhelmed. I don't know what I would do.
I wonder though a little bit if with so many people they form little pods and you don't have to, like, not all the attention is on you all at once.
Yeah.
With Jordan's family where there's just like her and 5 other people, it was always on her.
Yeah, that's true.
So maybe it could like loosen it up a little bit, but you do also like there are names and there are...
Yeah, and there's just, like, a lot of people who are coming to meet you for the first time, and you may be engaged to this person soon.
Like,
I would pass out. I would, like, step out of that car, be like, who are all these people?
Yeah.
And then pass out and die.
I'm either going to marry the person that is next to me, or I'm going to send him home heartbroken.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people for that to...
And all of these people here are then going to hate me.
Yeah. Yep.
Which, like, doesn't really affect you in the long run, but when you know that there's, like, a pocket of 50 people in wherever that hate you, it's a little rough.
Yeah, a little bit.
That you've met and hung out with, and they said they liked you at that point.
Played
like,
with their baby.
It's a little bit much.
Yeah. That baby was pretty cute. So I don't think... Maybe I wasn't paying attention, but Jojo, like, didn't talk to any of them. Like, she talked to them, but they didn't show the individual, like...
Yeah, they didn't show individual.
Yeah.
They showed her kind of, like, hanging out with them. They played cornhole, and...
That was cute. And then Luke's like, I have a surprise for you.
I just wanted to remind you I'm perfect, because I didn't know if it was going to come up this week, so...
Just a little reminder. He takes her on horseback to, like, this outdoor, like, couch area, and then they walk a little farther to a path of candles to a rose petal heart in the fields, and it was like...
It's completely unfair.
It's like, oh.
Like, Jojo, you deserve a great, great man, but Luke is a perfect man.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's not even fair how perfect he is.
Like, I don't get it. And he was like, you have my heart. And then she, like, gets whisked away.
Yeah, right.
And, like...
the van's like, we found you. Get it.
And then, he, like, watches her and a song plays in the background. And, like...
really loudly in the background. Like, distractingly loudly in the background. But it's fine. I'm sure they've done it before. I just haven't really noticed as much.
Yeah. And then, so the whole thing went pretty well, and I was telling you earlier, like, I feel like Luke, just in how he is, like, very serious, he wouldn't have invited his whole town to meet Jojo if he wasn't serious about her. And then the rose ceremony comes, and it's about to, like, get real. And Luke is like, let me talk to you. Which was, like, so dramatic. I was like, oh my god.
And he's the only one at this point who hasn't said I love you.
Right.
And I think he knew that too, even though Chase only said it on his hometown date. I know both Jordan and Robbie did before, but I don't think Chase did until his hometown date. But Luke seemed to know that he was the only one who hadn't said I loved you.
Yeah.
I love you.
I don't know.
Maybe
I don't know
Chase
how he would.
Maybe Chase said in passing, like, I'm gonna tell her I love her.
Maybe.
And he was, like, mulling it over. But didn't on the date.
Yeah,
so
which
I assumed Chase did.
I was really surprised he didn't on the date, I guess. I kind of assumed he did. But then he takes her out, right, in that killer blue dress, which I can't get over. She looked so good. And then tells her, and then she, like, has a breakdown.
Yeah. Which, okay, so there was that moment on the date where he's, like, telling her how perfect she is. She tried to cut in a couple of times, and he kind of cut her off.
Oh, really?
But I don't think she was gonna say anything like, I don't think it's working out. I think she just wanted to, like, kind of reiterate what he was saying to him, but he just kept kind of bowling her over.
I didn't.
But then they kiss, and it's, like, beautiful and perfect because they're gorgeous and wonderful, and the sun is setting in the background, and it's fine. And then she starts to cry, like, as they're kissing, and she pulls away, and he's like, you're crying for, like, a good reason, right?
And she was like,
yeah, you know, like, I'm just so sad. I have to leave you soon, and then I have to, like, make this huge decision. So with that and the way that she reacted after he said I love you, I kind of had this feeling that he was gonna go home.
That's shocking. I mean,
I think it makes sense if 3 men have told you they love you and one hasn't. He said, you have my heart.
Yeah, I guess for me, I guess this goes along with that, but I guess to me, we have seen a little bit more, like chemistry and passion and less, like, emotional connection, which I guess then makes sense, but then, like, I guess it is hard to overlook that, just how perfect and romantic it is, like, every time they're together, so that's why it was shocking to me. But yeah, it does seem like, it was pretty obvious that he was the one that was gonna go.
Yeah, but I don't know if that was just, like, an overreaction to make it a more dramatic moment than it was.
I don't know, because with everything you were saying, it does seem like that.
Yeah, right? Like, connecting those two together definitely makes it seem like that.
Yeah.
But I guess they do have a lot of chemistry, but I wouldn't think that if you're at that point in the show, you would make a split-second decision like that. Like, you have a while to think about who you're going to choose. If someone pulls you aside and tries to change your mind, do you really change your mind?
Yeah.
Because you've, like, been thinking about it, and if you know that you're going to send someone home because you don't think that it's right, how does that then change when they say, I love you?
Yeah.
When they've said, basically, I love you before. I mean, you have my heart is really close to I love you.
Yeah.
It's just not the words, I love you.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's just that, like, but what if her doubting his feelings back to her was the deciding factor?
That's true.
And then now she knows, and, like, he, like, you know, made it clear that he wanted to make that clear.
Yeah.
But maybe she just kind of broke down because he made that move, and now it's harder to send him home.
Yeah.
And now it will, like, hurt him more.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised. See, because I always think it's gonna be Chase, and it never seems to be Chase. So I don't know what's happening with Chase. But I wouldn't be surprised.
And they really still haven't shown us anything for us to be like, oh my god.
Oh yeah,
them.
that's why.
Of course, Chase and Jojo.
Of
Of
course.
course. They haven't done it.
They haven't.
If he wins, there needs to be like a flashback, like, oh, this is why. Like,
a Chase
please tell me.
montage
Yeah.
that shows
Like,
all
oh, we didn't put any of this in the show because we didn't think. I don't.
Yeah.
We knew at that point, but we just were like, oh, that's boring, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, so at this point, I think I would only be shocked if she sent Jordan home, because I think he makes it to top 2.
Yeah, that was before any of that stuff happened. I was like, Jordan's the only one I'm sure is not going to go home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so because like Robbie has that girl thing and Chase has the like never been there before thing, and then Luke has this whole new like whatever thing. But yeah.
So, do you have a most dramatic moment?
I'm gonna say when she breaks down in the parking lot at the rose ceremony. Yeah, we haven't like seen her really sob that hard. I think she was like crying pretty hard. Yeah, that was dramatic. Agreed.
Yeah. And I wonder if they can see her from where they are. Are there like things that they can go behind? Because they were in like a pretty open space.
I'm not sure.
So are they like, hey, that's Jojo.
Yeah, she's
sobbing now. So good job, Luke. Helpful. Yeah, my most dramatic moment was when Robbie decided to tell her about his ex's roommate saying things.
Yeah.
And we talked about this a little bit during the show, but I thought it was completely unnecessary to tell her about that.
Yeah.
It just added this, like, another layer of questioning.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's already questioning whether he can be in a relationship after being in a long relationship, whether he's ready to be engaged after that.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden she's like, wait, why are you sitting me down and telling me that your ex's roommate is talking about you and saying that you weren't on the show for genuine reasons, and that you didn't break up with her until you found out you were on the show?
Yeah, I agree. He shouldn't have told her. I mean, but I also can see where he would think he had to.
Yeah, I could see where he thinks he needs to, but I think he shouldn't have.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
and if he did want to, he shouldn't have done it in that way. He shouldn't have pulled her out of the conversation with his, I think it was his sisters, right? Or his sisters-in-law.
Sisters, I think. Maybe sisters-in-law.
He shouldn't have, like, barged into the room and been like, we need to talk right now. Because that just, like, sends off alarm bells if someone's coming at you like that. If they bring it up in a more, like, like, this stupid thing happened, and I don't want it to affect anything between us. Like, it's a bit different than, like, we need to stop everything right now so I can tell you about this.
That's true. I think that's pretty key. And, like, yeah, I feel like in that way, too, because she's already freaking out a little bit about it, it would be, at least, if he did want to tell her, if he did it in that way, she could be like, oh, well, that's, like, tabloid attention stuff.
Yeah,
And, like,
which she should know about because her ex did it too.
exactly.
So if you come at it at that way, like, hey, remember what your ex did? My ex is doing the same thing now. Then it's more of a conversation and less of a, whoa, hold up type thing.
And she was also like, well, what would someone have to gain by making that up? A lot, Jojo. Like 15 minutes of fame and like an interview about it, and like who wouldn't talk,
getting brought up on The Bachelorette.
Yeah. like who wouldn't talk, like badmouth their their friend's ex. That's what girls do.
Yeah.
There's so many reasons. Yeah, that was a pretty good drama moment.
I didn't have a douchebag moment. I don't know if you did.
No, I can't think of one. I feel like the remaining guys are like good guys.
Yeah, that and the fact that they aren't all in a room together.
Yeah.
Like, unless someone in the and it's happened before, someone in the family has been the douchebag moment, but unless someone in the families did something, I don't think anything at this point would be a douchebag moment.
Yeah.
So we'll probably be taking that off for next week and the week after, unless something happens. What about a romantic moment?
Romantic moment. I've like stopped writing these down, so I have to like think about it. Do you have one to start off?
I do. I just had when Luke brought her through the candles to the rose heart.
It was incredibly romantic.
Yeah, it would have been them kissing, but then with that like thing on top of like where she starts crying might be where she was like, I'm gonna send you home. That's a little rough for the romantic moment to be, but yeah.
It is. I want to say, to be honest, I want to, like, even maybe all the goodbyes, like, they're just, like, romantic, because even if, like, throughout the date I was questioning, every single goodbye to me was like, oh, this is, like, romantic, and, like, I feel like they're gonna miss each other, and yeah, pretty much all of them. With the exception of Jordan's, which was a little bit more question. She was like, I still feel scared about this. Like, but like Chase, Robbie, and Luke, I think, had really romantic goodbyes. And our connection count was at 2 this week.
Yep. Both from members of family, so thank you, members of family.
Thank you. Keeping it alive. Should I fetch the board?
Well, we don't have anyone to cross off.
You're right. Because they cut it off.
They cut it off.
I hate them so much.
I was like looking down, I was like, oh, blah, blah, blah. What? They're not.
There's no reason.
There's no reason.
There's no reason. I hate it.
It's really stupid. I mean, like, they're gonna do an episode next Monday and next Tuesday, because next Tuesday is gonna be the Men Tell All. They're basically just stretching it out, because we were talking about how Bachelor in Paradise starts in 3 weeks, so they only have so far to get, like...
Yeah.
And now they're stretching it out more, and I know there are gonna be 2 episodes next week, but, like... Why?
Why?
I guess it, like, makes people tune in more if you have it back-to-back with the Men Tell All. Like, maybe they'll just be like, oh, I'm not gonna watch the Men Tell All, but I watch the Men Tell All.
Yeah,
like, that's one of the best things, because it goes from, like, no drama to, like, oh my god, everybody's back, the drama's back, like... So, I don't know. I don't know what their thought was on that.
Next week is not the Men Tell All, is it?
Yeah. Next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday. But before that...
But next week
is the
completion
overnight.
Of this episode.
Yeah.
And the overnights. And we'll see if she sends someone home then.
Yeah. Gotcha. She must. They have to, because then the second to last guy couldn't be on the men tell all. So I think there'll
That's
be
true,
two
yeah.
rose ceremonies.
But that's stupid. Why? Whatever. That's what they're doing. That's what we have.
So yeah. We'll see y'all next week for double feature week.
Yep.
Excited about it. That's all.
That is all.
Check us out on Twitter.
At such a connection.
Such a connection.